Welcome to the Life-Giving Leader Podcast. What's going on, everybody? Tyler Reagan here, your host of the Life-Giving Leader Podcast. Just pretty excited about today. We've got a pretty amazing new episode for you. A longtime friend, someone I've just recently gotten reconnected with, Kevin Olusola from Pentatonix. He does all the beatboxing and the sounds and the instruments for the fully a cappella group that has won a whole lot of Grammys, and they've sold a whole lot of records. And if you listen to Christmas music, their Christmas albums are unbelievable. But Kevin Olusola is on the episode with his friend and kind of partner in crime, Donovan Donnell, who they are leading a ministry together, a Bible study together in LA for creatives. It's pretty awesome. So I'm going to give you a little more information about that coming up. But this episode, as the other ones have been, is brought to you by my friends at Retro 8 Films. If you're not telling your story, someone else is, and it's most likely your competitors. My friends at Retro 8 Films have helped guide me and some of the biggest companies on the planet through creating the most innovative, creative, meaningful content, video content that endears people to brands. So don't waste your time and money on content that doesn't convert or elevate your brand with beautiful films. Instead, let's find people that can really elevate those things, like Retro 8 Films. So again, Retro 8 and the number 8, films.com. You can find out more about that. I'm so grateful for my friends Ryan Shove and the whole team over there and the way that they continue to support and lift us up and make incredible brands come to life. So go check them out, retro8films.com. All right. Now, I just need to talk candidly for a minute. It is last week of school for our kids, and it's kind of hard to believe that's true. And we're starting to see, again, some sports picking up. I mean, there's potential the NBA is going to come back somehow, some version of it. They're looking at a shortened season for baseball. Like, this reopening stuff's pretty real. The church I've been consulting and working with now for months is First Orlando. And as we're looking at it as an executive team, trying to figure out how do we come back. And I think one of the things I've appreciated, even though I live in the state of Georgia where most people think we just opened all the doors and because we were one of the first states to quote-unquote reopen, everybody's still trying to be smart. Now, when I say everybody, let's be real clear. Just like we say everybody knows better, and then we see videos of people doing the whatever they know better not to do, there are people that are crazy. There are people that are going to do stupid things. You can't live your life like that. The rest of us are trying to be wise, and the majority of the people, restaurants, different things, are being smart about how they're doing, and then there's going to be the outliers, the people that are just foolish. So if you're listening to this and it works you up like crazy, the people that are being just foolish, I'm just going to tell you just to breathe, because they're always going to be foolish, no matter what the situation is, okay? And so I know you're going to get worked up, but as we've all learned already in these first few episodes, you can't get worked up on things you can't control. So you can control what you do, you can control where you go, you can control whether you wear a mask or not. All of those things you can control, and whatever version of that makes you feel like you're being a responsible citizen, do that. Do that. Have fun with it. But don't let all these crazies make you crazy. It's not worth it. So, I don't know. I just thought that was really important to talk about. So, a couple things to let you know coming up. Again, really excited about this episode. Now, before I launch into this one, I got a little surprise announcement. If you remember last week on Joe Saxton's episode, I talked about a bonus episode. I got 2 bonus episodes coming your way. Well, this week is one of them. Bah, bah, bah. I wish I had a little button to hit right now that created the sound effects you needed to hear. But I got to sit down on Zoom with my friend Ken Costa. Ken Costa is in the UK, chairman emeritus of Alpha International, which is one of the most incredible evangelism tools coming out of Holy Trinity Brompton. It's brought millions of people to Christ, and he's helped lead the charge there. He's been an investment banker for some of the largest banks in the world and all over Europe for 40 years. And he just has a way in which he lives when it comes to interpreting and trying to live daily to hear from the Holy Spirit and speak to people with words that have encouragement, words of life. And also he has such wisdom when it comes to times like this and and just kind of what's going on in the world around us, economy-wise. We're going to talk about that, talking about leadership as a whole, and we're going to talk about the Holy Spirit. So go ahead and set your calendars. I'm going to release this on Thursday. And so if you're listening to this one, you're going to get 2 episodes this week. One thing about that, you guys, I've gotten a lot of great feedback on social media, and I'm super thankful for that. I would love you to go on and rate it. And then also please share. If you want to post about it, you could just screen share or copy some of the graphics we've created, but just share if it's helping you at all, because the more we can continue to grow this community, the more impact we can make and create life-giving leaders all around us. So I'd love for you to do that. Be willing to rate and share it for us. And again, Ken Costa coming up this week. So before I get into Kevin, I want to tell you, I like to tell you a little bit what's going on in my mind from a leadership perspective, and sometimes just tell you something that's stirring in me. And I think it goes back to what I mentioned about when things are out of your control, it's really difficult to not get worked up by them. And I'm no different than that. One of the things I'm learning from some of these leaders I'm interviewing, I'm learning from my wife, I'm learning from my kids, and I'm just thinking about in leadership in general, is a lot of leaders spin their wheels on things they can't control. And we get so uptight about it. We get so worked up. Our stress level goes through the roof. And yet we can't control it. And I think that's really where that scripture comes in about do not be anxious about anything, because what is there to be anxious about in the sense of if it's out of your control, there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't know. I think somebody needs to hear that today, that you need to breathe a little bit. Take the weight off your shoulders and recognize the things I can control, I'm responsible for. That's my leadership journey. That's my leadership responsibility. But if it's out of my control, I'm not saying just abdicate, ignore it, whatever. But you can't let it drive you in terms of crazy. You can't let it just make you mad. And so I just want to encourage you. That's one of the things I'm thinking about. And one of the things I'm trying to do myself is there are so many times my kids do something that's out of my control. Not okay. Not cool, kids. But I'm trying to learn how to just breathe a little bit more and just relax a little bit more. And honestly, I think we could all do that. It would help all of us just to relax, breathe, take a deep breath, and move on. And so that's what I'm going to do. Here we go. It's like the app on my watch that I ignore every time it shows up. All right, here we go. So Kevin Olusola and Donovan Donnell. I met Kevin about 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago at Catalyst. I was just producing the event and before I came on staff, and Kevin was doing some creative stuff with us. He was a beatboxer, but he also played the cello. He's classically trained cellist. And then Kevin goes on this TV show, The Sing Off, with this group of 5 people, him included, and they formed this small little band called Pentatonix. Don't know if you've heard about it. But 10 million records later, sold later, and 3 Grammys, Pentatonix has become by far the most celebrated and successful a cappella band probably in the history of music. But just amazing talent. I love, like I said, their Christmas albums we listen to on repeat at Christmas time. And Kevin he's an amazing guy, strong believer. He loves the Lord. And he loves people really well. And so what Kevin's doing is amazing to me, is he's not just about touring and doing these things. He's continually trying to give back to the people that he loves so much. And that's where Donovan really comes in. The 2 of them are serving a community called Imagine LA Community. And they've really just decided, let's serve the creatives with Bible study. We're doing these Zoom Bible studies, doing these different things right now, but they've been meeting in person when they could, and really growing a community. And I bet if we all keep an eye on this will not be a small community for very long. And so I'm grateful for both Kevin and Donnell, and excited that I get to share this interview with you. Well, welcome to the Life-Giving Leader podcast, and what a treat it is for me to have an old friend and a new friend here on the podcast. So first of all, let me start with my new friend, Donovan Donnell, correct? Am I saying that right?
Yes, sir. You're saying absolutely correct.
Life coach, author, and if you see this video, he is a ripped piece of machinery. So so grateful for him. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about him in a minute. Donovan, it's good to have you. So glad you're with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And then on the other person on this line, a longtime friend, was a part of Catalyst early when I was there. He's a legend, did some music videos with a guy named Gunger, a band named Gunger years ago, but a beatboxing cellist who's gone on to do some pretty amazing things. A guy named Kevin Olusola. How are we doing, Kevin?
Man, I'm doing well. In LA, feeling great.
Yeah. So let's just for people that don't know you guys yet, let's start with you, Donovan. Just give us a little bit of biographical background. Give us a little bit of how you've kind of gotten to where you are right now.
Wow. Okay.
I know there's a lot there. I know there's a lot, but just give us the brief version if you can.
Only in the elevator. Got you for a few seconds. Honestly, I have a passion and a love for people and seeing them evolve. I believe that God uses me to perform this Romans 12:2 idea of transforming the way people, transforming people into new creatures by changing the way that they think. And I find myself gifted in that knowledge and wisdom area from God. I saw him working through me. And so, I got my life coaching certification 2014. I got my ACP earlier this year. I've written 2 books about relationship and entrepreneurship, and it's gotten me to where I am now. My day job is working with homeless families in the LA community. And outside of that, I still do my public speaking, my leadership coaching, and I've been blessed to have the opportunity to work with Imagine LA community and helping people, especially creatives, entrepreneurs, to really find how to use this God-given gift to impact LA. And we always ask them, what would LA look like with your impact on it? And awesome. We have no impact minus God. So that's where I'm at today.
That's awesome. That was really good, by the way. That might be the fastest you've ever done it. Kevin, what do you think?
That's the fastest you've heard. I was like, wow, I did not think it was going to go like that. That's really good, Donovan.
Well, let's see how you do now, Kevin. You've been, the gauntlet has been laid. So give everybody a little background on Kevin Olusola.
Definitely not good. I'll try my best. I always start with my family background. My dad's from Nigeria, my mom's from Grenada, and they came to America for just a bigger dream. It's the American dream, the immigrant mentality of you come here to work hard so that your children can have some sort of success and stability that they might not have had in their home countries. What that looked like for me was doing medicine. And so I grew up loving music, but always thinking that I was going to go to medical school. I went to boarding school, went to Yale for undergrad. And while I was at Yale, I think certain unique gifts and talents that I had that I didn't realize were unique at the time started to pop up in a way where I was trying to figure out how to combine them. That's cello and beatboxing and putting them together. Once I realized that this unique gift was available to experiment with and there was no rules, I think that's when God finally opened my eyes and made me realize that this is where he was actually calling me to once I understood that uniqueness. And that's what led me to put up a video of me playing a piece by Mark Summer called Julio. And Mark Summer is part of a group called the Turtle Island String Quartet. It's a jazz string quartet. And it got millions of views in a few days. And I had an opportunity because of that to work with Gunger. And also a friend of mine, who's now a friend, Scott Hoying from Pentatonix, said, hey, listen, we're putting this group together to be on an a cappella TV show. And so I said yes to that opportunity. I graduated in 2011. And from there on, I've had this opportunity to be on this whirlwind of a ride, performing in arena concerts all over the world. We sold 10 million plus albums as a group, 3 Grammys. And I could have never expected it because I answered the opportunity that God had called for me.
Yeah. And Donovan and I have a couple Grammys, but we don't always talk about that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we'll just funny?
Leave that to Kevin. Is it in the background?
No. I was wondering because I only had 1 Grammy downstairs, and I was wondering where the other 2 went.
Oh yeah, we borrowed them. Thank you for that.
No. Okay. Tyler has both of those. My Grammy is what I call my grandmother. That's the only Grammy I got.
Fair
enough. Work.
That's amazing. And Kevin, I think when we got together at Catalyst, you did some amazing beatbox, cello stuff. You were a part of some openers with us. It was super fun to get to know you during that season. And it was really pretty early in the Pentatonix world. And Gunger had played with us. That might have been how we connected actually originally. But I remember sitting and watching you in this creative space. And it was, and again, we're talking about life-giving leadership. My first book, the subtitle of it is Learning to Lead from Your Truest Self. It's what you're talking about, that uniqueness. The most life-giving leaders I know are themselves. They've become okay with how God made them. It's that Psalm 139, you are knit together for a purpose. And now our jobs is to get people on that purpose, on that calling, because why would God uniquely knit us together in a way that's counter to what he's calling us to do? It doesn't compute. It doesn't work. Watching you do that was one of those, you know how you watch somebody, you go, they're made to do that. Like that's just who they are. Then you step into this new space, Pentatonix, which at the time was just kind of an a cappella group on a show that has surpassed any a cappella group probably in the history of music, right? How has that journey been for you and your faith as you've walked alongside that?
It has been, I think they go side by side. For what I want to do and want to be, once again, you said that it's a life-giving leader is their truest, authentic self. And so I had to always put my faith at the forefront, because my thought was, if God's called me to this, to be in the world, and I know a lot of, people who are Christians sometimes think, oh my gosh, you're going into Hollywood. That's a terrible thing. How dare you?
That means they haven't seen the sunshine and the beautiful weather. Come on, like pay attention.
Exactly, right? Exactly. But also I feel like it's God is calling each one of us to be mature in our faith so that we can withstand certain temptations. And I feel like he had been preparing me for that, so that whenever I finally paired my creativity with my faith, I could do it knowing that God was behind me. And that if I couldn't do something because of my faith, that was okay, because God will close that door and hopefully another one will open. And so throughout this whole journey, I've always tried to talk to my band members of the things that I want to do, the things that I don't think I can do, and be very, very conscious of who they are as well, because we might not necessarily share the same faith, but we're empathetic because we're human. So we can understand each person's, necessities, idiosyncrasies, and we can therefore move together in a united front that brings a lot of great music and joy to so many people.
That's beautiful. And it's amazing to watch how you guys come together. And then you lost a member and gained a new member, and he's amazing, by the way. Again, I don't know why Donovan and I didn't get called, but we can discuss that on another, podcast. So
it's because you
Donovan,
stole my Grammys, bro.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll get those back to you. I'll get those back. So Donovan, I'm coming to you, but Kevin, just give us, what's a new sound or something you've been working on in that little beatbox world? You got anything that you've been stirring around with? Come on, I'm putting you on the spot.
Anything new,
okay, maybe something old.
I've been trying to continuously always perfect the kind of throat bass.
Yeah. That's pretty darn good.
Like that kind of sound where it's like very, bass driven, because with some of the new music that I'm doing, that's going to be kind of a staple. So.
Okay. All right. I'm going to keep working too while I do push-ups thinking about Donovan. All right, Donovan, let's talk a little bit about, you're a life coach, man. That's one of my heartbeats. I love it too. What happened in your life that drove you to want the best for others? Do you know what I mean? Like you're spending a lot of time trying to serve other people, care for other people. Talk me through like what's happened in your life that's driven you to really go towards others and others focus in the way that you're serving.
It probably is two different aspects of my life. The first is the mother that I had. My mother raised me to believe that I was energy wrapped in flesh. And she always talked to me about the scripture and about God's infinite power always working through me. And so that made me feel special. And I was in love with, superheroes as a kid. I loved like Popeye and He-Man specifically. And so in my formidable ages, when I was really gathering my true identity, a lot of it was formed around, honestly, He-Man and Popeye. And that was their MO, especially He-Man. He was a prince who transformed in order to save people and protect the kingdom. And Popeye had this love interest, and he went to the ends of the earth to make sure she was safe. And so in my early ages, like just being surrounded by this hero mentality really made me, adapt to certain behaviors, because I believe that I was one. And I'm a firm believer that my beliefs impact my biology. Whatever I believe in my mind, it goes over to my brain. My brain releases the hormones and chemicals that make me instantly do certain things. And so that's how I saw myself. But the other end of it is that I grew up in South Central. And so the statistics say that I shouldn't live past 18, which a lot of my friends didn't live that long. And so the longer I live, the more fortunate I feel. And with that, like gratitude, it makes me feel like I need to give something back. I need to do something with these years that I've been blessed with that friends of mine and associates didn't have. Yeah. And so that's really what got me into life coaching, because I recognize I can help people in all these different physical ways, financially, or come to their aid with my strength. But unless I help them to find themselves after I'm gone, now they're desolate, they're stuck. And I love what you said earlier about, leading from your true self. I believe that self-denial is the biggest enemy of your purpose. So helping people know themselves and embrace themselves the way that God sees them is how they really walk in their purpose. And that's what I really want to teach people, how to like fish within themselves. In my lowest point in my life, God showed me that you'll never know what's within until you have to live without. And so when you live without, you have to look within. And I really want to help people look within themselves and see how beautifully God has made them. And then they can go out there and impact the world.
Man, that thought of, I'm doing this because I shouldn't be here, or I've got extra days that others didn't.
Yeah.
That's crazy powerful. Like that kind of it gives me chills going, wow. Cause we spend so many days, we're not content. We're frustrated. We have anxiety and yet we got friends that we've lost along the way, or people that didn't ever even have some of these opportunities. That's a super powerful thought. And, but here's the thing about leadership, right? You can have that thought all day long and do nothing about it, jack squat about it. That's what happens. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast too is because I have a lot of people that I've come across in the last 15, 20 years who are just so life-giving in their world, in their sphere, in their different, hence why you guys are on this. When you hear that phrase, a life-giving leader, what's one attribute, Donovan, that comes to mind for you?
The first attribute that comes to mind is a leader that cares. Life is not given or spoken over someone unless you actually care. And it's funny that you use that, because when I do my leadership coaching, my thing is creating leaders that care. And my acronym for care is creating a resourceful environment. That means you're trying to do your best to pour into people what they need, to supply them with what they need to be the best them possible. And so when I hear that phrase, a life-giving leader, ultimately I look at the heart and say, that is a leader that cares, honestly, sincerely, genuinely cares about the people.
Which is a good transition to you, Kevin, because I think one of the reasons you care so much about Donovan is kind of how much he's cared for you. Talk about, when you hear that phrase, a life-giving leader, what comes to mind for you?
That's a really good question. I think the first thing that I think about is giving people the tools to passionately live out the calling of their life.
That's good.
And I think that doesn't necessarily mean, sometimes that's speaking and telling people here are some of the tools, but I think the best thing that you can always do is be an example. And I think, Donovan and I have really tried to Imagine LA community just to lead by example in who we are, how we do things. I know in my music, I've always tried to lead, within Pentatonix with just the, candor, empathy, but the example of how I work and how I schedule my time, so that hopefully people will say, I want to raise the bar for myself because I see somebody in my leadership group also doing that. Because I think that's what gets people to raise the bar for themselves when they're impacted by the people around them and they're around incredible people. You automatically or hopefully want to raise the bar as well. So it comes from within, so that you're an example to others.
So why do you guys think that matters so much in the faith community?
Oh my gosh.
As believers.
I mean, Donovan, I'm curious, I feel like you may resonate with, this may resonate, in the sense that in the faith community, we are ambassadors to Jesus.
Yeah.
This God that we serve and we love. And I think in a lot of ways, sometimes that may get misrepresented. Mm-hmm. And that's hard because Jesus was, I think, the greatest leader that understood and knew so much. So you can call that truth, but then also showed so much unbelievable compassion. And that's grace. And he married the two in a way where people said, I'm so impacted by the love, even though he still adheres to these ideals and these commandments. He still loves me unconditionally. And so I sometimes feel like in the faith community, people see a different side of might and run the other way, where God has always called us to help people lean into him through empathy, through being vulnerable, so that they can feel attached to something that's greater than themselves, and be willing to be open to the possibility of the truest God, the truest love that he has. So I think that's why it's so important. I mean, we really talk about purpose so much, and purpose, it's not just your job. It's about connecting somebody with the connector of all life. Yeah. And so that's the whole purpose. So if we're not doing that in the best way we can in our respective communities, then, we're not doing the best thing that we can do for others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you add to that, Donovan?
I think that from a literal standpoint, is the reason it's so big in the faith community is because there's a real enemy attacking, and it doesn't want us to be a life-giving leader. It wants us to be a life-hoarding leader. That's one of the greatest things that leaders struggle
Fact.
with is greed. I'm just going to save all this life for myself, and that life can be synonymous with any amount of resources. But a life-hoarding leader who is seeking their own elevation, their own promotion, their
Yep.
own bank account, and that is where the struggle comes in. In the faith community, I believe that we're trying to do two things. We're trying to move the kingdom of God forward while simultaneously trying to repair the reputation, because we've been misrepresented in
That's
many
right.
environments. And
That's
so,
right.
remembering that I'm a life-giving leader, that even the idea, that concept, it helps me in times of temptation, when depression may want to set in, or when pride may want to set in. Just that being the title reminds me of what Jesus was all about,
Yep.
giving life, and that helps me stay in alignment with the forerunner, the one who I truly am a disciple of. So
I've always said, and that's why I do what I do, and I think it's why you guys do what you do, is I don't really know anybody that's walked away from Jesus because of Jesus. I know a lot, though, that have walked away because of those of us that represent Jesus. And I know guys that can preach the paint off the wall, but what they say on Sunday is not matching Monday through Friday. Those are the hurt things. Those are the repairings that we have to do. People have walked away from faith because of bad leadership. And honestly, that's central to why I keep doing what I keep doing, because I believe that we got to leave the church better than we found it. And we got to continue to, move this thing forward. And one of the things you said, Donovan, reminds me of Matthew 20, where he said, you've seen how rulers and powers, how the little power goes to their head, how they lord it over you. And then it's one of the only times in scripture I've heard Jesus say, this is what the world does, but this is what we're going to do. And that's when he said, not so with you. It's not going to be that way with you. We're going to serve. I came to serve, not to be served. That's what it is, man. And the way you guys are doing that in your different respected spaces is pretty amazing. I want to shift gears just a little bit. I want to talk creativity for a second, because I think creativity comes out. It's an overflow of our spiritual relationship. It's overflow of those wirings, those uniqueness within us. But Kevin, how have you been able to foster? It's a two-part question. How have you fostered your own creativity? And I've been seeing you doing a lot more of that again. And then how does Pentatonix create together? Like, what are those two processes for you guys?
Sure. Well, when it comes to Pentatonix first, I think a lot of times it's very organic. We sit down in a circle. I mean, now we obviously can't do that. So now we're doing it over Zoom, but we're really throwing ideas just on the wall. Like, hey, we want to try this. I'm trying this. I'm trying this. And it's really nice because everybody is coming from a completely different background, different life experience, different perspective, and they like so many different types of music. So when it's 5 people coming together to try to create a sound, when all of us like the eventual product, we feel like it's going to be received by so many other people, because if us 5 can like it, we're completely different, then there's got to be more people that can understand what we're doing as well. For my own personal product, like my own personal productivity, this is something I've been thinking about a lot, because I've actually been working on a personal solo project for the past 5 years. And I'm now, truly. And it's
I know, I
amazing.
believe it.
Yeah. And COVID-19 has kind of given me a time to crystallize a lot of that process, where I'm realizing for me, it comes from so many different avenues and where the music comes from. But really for me now, it comes from a story. Like, the story of what I want to say has to be so unbelievably clear. And that comes from just life experiences. And then putting that to music, the music comes from so many different avenues of who I am. There's Afro-pop influences because of my dad being Nigerian. There's Caribbean influences. So there's a worldly influence. There's a lot of urban influences because of my beatboxing. So and then obviously the classical aspect of things. Yep. So whenever I'm creating, I always start from a point of what is my personal unique talents, stories. What are those things that I can do that only I can do? And then from there, after that, I create the production music around that. But it starts from the nucleus of who I am first.
Yeah, that's really good. Donovan, as an author, as someone who's teaching Bible studies consistently and serving the creative community, what about you? How are you able to not just serve constantly, but think creatively, be innovative?
Wow, I feed off other creatives, man. I think that, but in order to do that, you have to not let yourself get on your high horse. You have to not start, thinking that, oh, that's beneath me, or thinking that I can't learn anything from a 6 year old. I get a lot of creativity from TV shows, movies, from just walking down the street and just
Yeah.
observing. Being present in life is the greatest pool of resources for a creative. Just you'll be surprised by how music was formed. Like what they heard water dripping in the sink, or you heard a car riding by, and somehow in your mind it triggers something that got your creativity going. And that's something that we do at Imagine LA. It's one of the reasons why we do icebreakers, because we want to warm people's imaginations up. I think so many times we have to be aware that the enemy of creativity is to just be mechanical. Just find a routine and just press play and let it loop over and over again. But I tell Kevin all the time, the first thing we know about God in the Bible is that in the beginning God created. And those are the first five words of the Bible. That means that God is a creative. The first things I know about my Heavenly Father is that He is a creative. He created and then He made me in His likeness. So I'm wired to be creative. And so that's what I do when I get in other environments. I just try to learn. I try to be a student of life and not hold myself higher than I need to. That humility is really what creates a great environment for creativity to happen.
Yeah, it's totally necessary too. And humility is the best word when it comes to creativity, isn't it? It's kind of surrendering to it versus it being all about you. I think that's a beautiful thought. So talk a little bit more for a second, Donovan. You guys, that's really a part of the world you guys are living in with the Imagine LA community. Tell us about that a little bit. What is this group? And give us a little bit more information about this group.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it a secret society? That's what I want to know. Is it a secret society that nobody's allowed to
Donovan,
be a part of?
No, it's a society that has a lot of secrets.
Oh,
it's not a secret society, but we do have a lot of secrets.
Okay, fair enough.
Those secrets come from God. We have the secrets to life, the secrets to peace, the secrets to prosperity, and we talk about it every week. What we're doing presently is every other Friday we have what we call a connect group, which above all things is a safe place for people who are in their walk of faith, people who are interested in learning about faith and about Jesus and about the sacrifice that He made, but also the authority He gave us, and why that His life and His death and His burial and His resurrection were so pivotal for us walking in our purpose and reconnecting us to God. And so we do a Zoom meeting every other Friday. And on the off Fridays, we get on IG Live and have conversations either about the Connect group or about relevant topics. And it's all about helping people to see the God power inside of them and understand that they have access to it through the blood of Jesus.
That's
and so that's a big part of the community. But like I said, above all, the umbrella is that we're creating a safe space, because we're not trying to put any churches out of business. Like there are churches and they need them, but we work with this specific niche of people who have a tendency in over history to be overlooked or kind of prejudged because of their appearance or because of how they think. They're innovative by nature. And so we create a safe place for them to be wrong, to be right, to be different, to just be their unique selves. And for a lot of times people haven't experienced that in the church building, even though it's available. Sometimes it just takes a lot to get to, those circles, but we make it readily available for people.
It's good. Kevin, anything you'd add to that? Why are you a part of it?
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like he hit it on the head. I mean, we started this in 2018 as a Bible study because I think being in LA, Los Angeles is the imaginative, the social capital of the world. It's where the stories that go out to the whole wide world get told. And there are people that come here because they have this purpose. They have these gifts. They have these quirks, these idiosyncrasies they want to utilize. But a lot of times they don't necessarily know that God was the one that gave it to them and that He had a very unique purpose for all those things. I think, and also in Los Angeles, there's an aversion, more of a I am my own thing. I can be whatever I personally want to be. And so it's us opening up the idea of people say, hey, maybe faith can actually be a part of your journey. Maybe, those unique gifts aren't just for yourself. Maybe, things that you have, they were actually supposed to be utilized for a purpose. And if God is the creator, He had a blueprint for those things already. So we just kind of want to open that up, because people are averse to Jesus and the idea of church. Like, well, this is not a church. This is literally a community that gets together and talk about these things for the people that think more gray than black and white. We want you to have those conversations.
That's really good. All right, guys, so we're going to do a quick lightning round. So, Donovan, why don't you answer first? Kevin, I'm going to let you answer second. Just whatever comes to mind. Now, don't be inappropriate, Kevin. Just kidding. Which, by the way, this is a great question for you because you've been married for about 6-7 months now. So, best marriage advice you've been given. Donovan, you start us.
Continue to be a student of your spouse.
It's great. Kevin, what about you?
Communicate through her love language.
There you go. Learning their unique self. That's huge, man. It's huge. Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Time Machine.
Like, you went right there. That means you actually, like, this is it.
Yes. All day. That's it. Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen. Wait, Time Machine. Which one is that?
It came out, and I think in 2004. It was,
okay.
I forgot the actor's name, but 2004 version of Time Machine. Loved it because I'm fascinated with time travel anyway, and they did it beautifully. I love the story.
All right, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
It's no Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Like, it's different than that.
No.
All right, Kevin, what about you?
Oh my gosh, two come to mind. One, the 1956 version of The King and I, or A Beautiful Mind.
Wow. So you went there. That's the cello guy coming out right there. Because me and Dom, I'm sitting here like Dumb and Dumber. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my mind. But then you go deep on me. That was impressive.
That's so funny.
All right. Best leadership advice or best leadership idea that's helped you walk through life.
Wow. Best leadership idea that helped me walk through life. Would be, wow. As a leadership coach, man, this is just a loaded question, but okay, this is supposed to be a lightning round. Okay, best leadership advice I could give someone is to lead by example. Yeah.
Which I think what comes to mind, even Donovan, getting to know you a little bit, is your servant leadership mentality. And that, I mean, you exude that already. It's without even seeing it in action. That's how you lead. It's pretty impressive. What about you, Kevin?
Thank you. I was going to actually say the same thing. Like, be the example of the leader that you want to see your people, be like practically. Yep. So just be that person, and they'll look to you to be the same.
All right. Hardest question. Final question.
All right.
If you're on a desert island, it's just you, and you can only take one catalog of a band, but you can listen to their whole catalog, but this is all you got for the rest of your, like, who knows how long. Which band are you picking?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say Prince and the Revolution, man. I'm just gonna go with that.
I love it. Seven's still one of my favorite songs of all time. Those little finger symbols. Come on, Kevin, can you do a finger symbol sound?
I
got
wish.
That in you.
I would. I guess it'd have to be like Boys to Men. Like, I've always loved them.
You're gonna be sad.
But I love their songs, and like Wanye up there singing all his crazy runs and stuff. I'm like, bro,
you're gonna be sad.
Literally, I'm gonna be sad, but I'm gonna be like, listen to that runs like you can't believe. Let's go,
man. You gotta get something more hopeful than that, man. Sheesh, Motown Philly. You're gonna be listening to that over.
All the time. I love that. Oh my gosh, New Jack Swing. I love that.
That was my first CD of all time, for the record. That and Belle Biv DeVoe. When I switched from cassette to CD, those were my two first CDs. So I'm with you on that. That's good, man. Well, hey, you guys, I really am grateful for the time. I'm grateful for the way that you exude life-giving to the people around you. Donovan, it's great to meet you. It sounds like you're just an incredible leader and coach, and I love that you are giving your life to represent the kingdom in a way that brings life to those around him. Kevin, it's good to see you again, man. And as people who, cheer for our friends who are doing things that even you couldn't ever imagine, knowing that you're doing it with a light in you that shares life to the people around you is obvious, and it's awesome. So thank you for just continue to put the kingdom first in the way that you love people. So it's good to see you guys. Thanks for being a part.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So good. So good. So good. So good. Sorry, that was Neil Diamond coming out in me. I used to go to the Red Sox games when we lived in New England for seminary, and you'd hear them just yell that at the top of their lungs. So that's my sign coming out of interviews. So good. Bam, bam. Wait a minute. That's a James Brown song. Anyway, moving on. If you want to keep up with Kevin, you can follow him on the Instagrams and the Twitter, Kolusola, Olusola. That's also the same on Instagram. And then Donovan Donnell, you can reach at DonovanDDonnell.com. Again, author, life coach, personal coach, leader. He's just amazing. He's doing a million different things. I love this conversation. Hopefully, on my Vimeo page soon, I can throw up some of the clips from this interview so you can see it in person. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. By the way, if you have questions, again, you can DM me at Tyler Reagan, Reagin, or you can email my assistant, Kara. She's kind of taking all these in. It's CARA@lifegiving.co. If you have questions, if you got guests you think should be on this, if you want me to talk about why I love sweet tea, I don't know, whatever it is. But again, connect with us. Let us know. So grateful for this conversation with these guys. I love when people gain influence and use it for the betterment of the kingdom. That's just the truth. And that's what these guys are doing. I'm super thankful for it. Again, if you want to tell great stories, connect with my friends at Retro 8 Films. If you want to connect with me, I just told you that at Tyler Reagan. And then would you please be willing to go and share this episode, this podcast with friends and rate it so that we can continue to grow this community. I'm super thankful for you. I pray this week that you will leave, or that you will bring life to the people around you, including if it's only you and the dog in the house. But if you would just serve the people around you, see them as God's gift to you for this season and for more than just the season. Serve them well, because when life flows, influence grows. We'll see you next week.